everyone. My name is Marc. This is my colleagues, Evan and Allison, and friends, and we are from St. FX University. Every Thursday, we've been meeting to discuss some of our research questions and some data we've been collecting, and we're here to share it with you, but also to hear your thoughts on it and get some feedback, including our title, Legitimizing the Other, and an activist study on the efficacy of number talks in elementary classrooms. Okay, so this is part of a larger study, but our question that we're asking is, how can viewing number talks from an activist perspective illuminate their efficacy? So many of you already know that a number talk is about a 10 to 15 minute classroom discussion, whole class discussion, where the teacher poses an arithmetic question, either orally or visually, for students to solve mentally. And
okay, so when you look at number talks, one of the things that Matney and others found was that teachers were using lots of number talks. They were very commonly used in classrooms. There were books written about them, there are videos, there are practitioner articles, but there was very limited research that was done on how they were used and what they did, so their efficacy. And so hence the black hole refers to that there was no research to look at it. So when you look at the 5 components and how number talks are being assessed for efficacy, these 5 components of a classroom environment and community, classroom discourse, the teacher's role in questioning and supporting student reasoning, the role of mental math, and purposeful computation practice, all of these things within 12 to 15 minutes, it was spreading seeds of doubt, because how can all of this happen at the same time? So the research, one of the things that Matney and Al said was there needs to be broader discourse on this, and so there needs to be more research. So we then had this idea that when we started looking at number talks, if we looked at it from a different perspective and changed the discourse, then perhaps we might see them differently.
So in our weekly meetings on Thursdays, we landed on enactivism as a perspective to view number talks. And before we could really dive into the number talks, we had to characterize the classroom as enactivist. And these are some of the key words that we came up with in the literature, and things that spoke to us about what had happened in the number talks. We were really drawn to the notion of shared understanding in the learning system itself, and what Maturana and Varela have told us about enactivism as a theory of embodied cognition. The idea of structural coupling between and among the participants in the learning system was really important to us. And when we read Towers and Martin's work, talking about structural coupling in a math classroom as co-acting, that really spoke to us quite significantly. Additionally, we were drawn to Gombello et al.'s work in legitimizing the other, hence our long title, because we thought this was a really important aspect of the enactivist classroom, that the participants legitimize each other, and how does that happen? Oh, yes, our study. So we're in year 3 of our study so far. The data we brought today and we're drawing on for this conversation is from year 2. It's a funded number talk research project from Nova Scotia. The Inter-University Research Network began the funding, and we were successful in continuing that with a PEG grant as well. So we partner with our neighboring school region, the closest one to our university. You see how many teachers there are and who was involved. What we have as data are the number talk videos. Today you'll hear some audio, but there are videos.
Okay, so just in preparation, you're going to hear a student talking in a minute. And I'd like you to turn and talk to the person beside you about how you think a grade 3 student would solve 17 minus 9? So just tell the person beside you what you think they would do. I know. Okay, so I'm going to stop us there. And who's got one idea? Who's got? Yeah, and then yeah, it's just there. Who's got one idea to share? So I'd love to actually hear more, but we're under a tight. What's that? Yes, Amy. So where would you start? Start at 17, count backwards with fingers down, and then you would know to stop because you'd count the 9 fingers. Okay. Who also thought that way? Who also thought that way? And just curious, who thought a different idea? Okay. All right. Well, we're going to hear the student, and here's their idea. Just so you know, before I tell you this is the second idea. So in a number talk, we've been only taking up 2 ideas. I just took up one and recorded on the board to make it visible. This is the second idea. So we'll just pretend because it's true in here, although the first idea was a little different. Okay. So I'll play this, and then you'll have some time to talk about what you think your next move is. Okay.
I took the 17 and added to the 9 so to make a 10.
Okay, keep going.
And then I took the 10 away from the 16.
Okay, so we'll just pause there, and you can read it here and just turn and talk to the person beside you. So you're the teacher. The second ideas just come up from that student. What's your move? Tell the person beside you. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Okay. So if we had more time, we would love to hear your ideas about what you would do. But I'm just going to share what happened. So this is just what happened next. And then, so you wanted to subtract 10. Is that true? Why did you want to subtract 10?
Because if you would subtract 9, it would not be even.
You wouldn't get the answer. You wouldn't get the answer? Or what do you mean?
Not fast enough.
Not fast enough. So is your idea to subtract 10? Yeah, instead of 9? Yeah, that's a great idea. It's easier to subtract 10, isn't it? Okay, so I want to know before we share the next one, how many people's move was this for their, was your, yeah, okay, curious. Okay, so and for the last part, this is our last little clip that we're going to share with you. We'd like you to listen for shared understanding or co-acting or legitimizing. So if we're at 17 and we subtract 10, where are we?
7.
Oh, but we subtracted too much, didn't we? Right? So what should we only subtract, we're only supposed to subtract 9, but we subtracted 10, so what should we do now?
We add the one that we took.
We add it back. So where should we be now if we add 1 back?
8.
Ooh, how many people did that? Raise your hand. You did that? Okay. So, yeah. Any evidence of shared understanding from the text? What do you see? in that little dog. Yeah. Okay. There's, yeah. Yeah. Any other evidence you see?
Yes, there's a teacher has a shared understanding. Do we subtract?
Yeah. If we go back to the very first, how he's describing. If we go back to 2 slides and we hear he's saying, you know, I did, you know, I took the 17 and then and then if we see here, you know, the student saying, well, we had the back one that we took. So we see some co-acting among, yeah. Yeah, it's just clipped. Yeah. Yes, good. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay, good question. So the original idea is to take 1 from the 17 and put it, so now I have 16 minus 10, right? And then the teacher in the second says, no, the next one, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, so you like, it's sort of, I would say, blocks the kid from doing that and said, is your idea to subtract the 10? No, you're onto it. You're on it. So the kid's wanting to take 1 from the 17 and put it over, and the teacher's going, okay, because that's not going to get you to 8, right? No. So the teacher just says, okay, so is your idea to subtract 10? Is that true? And then takes it from there. So it brings up a lot of questions about, you know, what can you and can't you do in a number talk? So you have 10 minutes in a number talk, and what can and can happen in a number talk. And I think this is sort of evidence of the idea of taking the best part of an idea of a kid, as opposed to going into, well, that doesn't work. And let me show you why. Because I don't think you can do that in 10 minutes. So we'll just go to our last slide. Because we're still thinking about it. I'm glad actually you brought that up, because we're still thinking about this quite a bit. And we're just thinking about enactivism a lot, and our work in number talks. And yeah, I'll just pass it over.
So one of the things that we've been sitting with is this shift from a number talk as something that is instructional to number talk as creating the conditions where ideas can co-emerge, and where students and ideas and the development of it, which goes back to not saying to the child that this idea is wrong, but allowing the understanding to emerge through the context and through the situation. So that's where we're really seeing number talks are a place where the invitation to come into space and talk about ideas and develop as knowers. We think that there's a lot of potential to show for number talks to be that space. And within enactivist classrooms, number talks can be part of that. So that's one of the ways that we're trying to enter into that discourse and contribute to the discourse, because what we noticed before was that it was in a very linear way of evaluating or assessing whether it was effective. But if we're looking at developing conditions where kids have opportunities to sit with ideas, and the ideas and the child are developing at the same time, then it offers this different insights altogether into number talks.
And just to conclude, we found some resonance from this morning's talk from Jérôme because of what you noticed in the number talk, that the decision, the think on your feet decision to go with the best idea really allowed the co-acting to emerge and some shared understanding to present itself. So thank you. We're really excited to hear your comments and any questions that you might have that would help us out.